A good deal of my life at Shea Stadium. Here is an image of Shea Stadium being erected in 1963, which is almost identical to how the thing looked like when it was being demolished piece by piece, because they don't permit implosions in the city of New York and the state of New York. So, because the unions want the work to demolish it piece by piece, piece by piece, and everybody wants to get into the act. Cha cha cha. This looks like identical to what the stadium looked like when it was being torn down, the exact structure. But also in the book, you'll find little images of my old scorebooks and collect. One of the games I have been able to maintain over the years, one of the books, a lot of my memorabilia is gone. Otherwise, I would have been a very wealthy man if I had maintained it. But I ditched it, figuring, I'm grown, I don't need all of this. I've been lugging it around the country. And in 1991, I got rid of it. And on April 15th, 1968, when I was just about 2 months after I had had a spinal fusion operation, I was flat on my back in bed with a plaster body jacket, recovering. And I used to keep score of every game. That game wasn't televised, it was on the radio. And I don't know whether the producer here can get an image of this, but this is my scorebook I kept of the radio broadcast on WJZ, I believe it was called, in, not WJZ, but it was the old radio station in New Jersey that the Mets were on between 1967 and 1971, I believe, and that later changed its name to WWDJ. But I listened to the broadcast. Lindsey Nelson, Bob Murphy, and Ralph Kiner, the original New York Mets broadcasters, who were together for 17 seasons. And for 24 innings, I kept score. And I don't think the game ended until around 3 o'clock New York time. It was, Mets lost 1-0. An infield error by Al Weiss, shortstop, because the infield had not been dragged, and it was at that point the baseball instituted the rule that after every 5 innings the infield must be dragged, and but you'll find little details like that. And so, a book is difficult to recapture some of the spirit, although I tried. Those of you at Shea, those of you who went to Shea, or who even saw me on television, or in other ballparks, because a lot of you, including my dear wife, saw me and thought I was crazy. And maybe I am. God only knows. And some of you might recall what I did at Shea. And we'll close with a little bit of what I used to do. You might recall the late Miss Jane Jarvis, who played first in the Magnavox organ between 1964 and 65, and then the Thomas organ between 1966 and August of 79, when she retired and was replaced briefly by a man named Richard Wallace, and then they brought in other music, shall we say, which I did not approve of, and the live organ didn't come back until 1997. But she used to begin her stands after canned music came in for an hour. She used to play about an hour before the game, starting with dun 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 bum bum bum. Meet the Mets, step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really sucking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the M-E-T-S Mets of New York Town. Now, she never played the middle stanza, but because you were out there in television land, oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go to meet the Mets? Oh, they're hollering, they're cheering, and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go to meet the Mets? All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, because we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York Town. It's pretty bad, I know. Give them a yell, give them a hand, and let them know you're rooting in the stands. And should we go on from there? Meet the Mets, step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really sucking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets of New York Town. Then she would play just before the game a little her staccato version of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Take me out with the crowd, oh, buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. Jackie Gleason taught me how to dance. I don't care if I ever get back, we'll just root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Then finally, she would break into her own composition, where she actually played more than Meet the Mets. Let's Go Mets. Da 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 da, ba da 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 da, ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba da 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 dum. The New York Mets are on the way. Let's go Mets! 3 cheers for all the boys who play. Let's go Mets! Amazing, yes they are. Each player is a star. The best in the land by far they are. Let's go Mets! Let's root for the team that plays at Shea. Let's go Mets! The team that soon will have its day. Let's go Mets! Let's root as hard as we can. Hurrah for every fan. The New York Mets are on the way. The New York Mets are on the way. The New York Mets are on the way. Let's go Mets! The name of that book is Meeting the Mets, a quirky history of a quirky team by Thomas A. Drolesky, available on Amazon Kindle and through Gildan Ed Publishing, print on demand, also advertised on Kindle. You'll enjoy it. $3.99. I don't know how much it will be charged in the print on demand format. The ebook, the Kindle book is $3.99. Please buy it, enjoy it, and I wish each of you a very fine day, and adios, Heil Silver away, let's go Mets, God bless you all, and Viva Cristo Rey.
Yeah, that's very nice, yeah.